maybe there's those very rare things where all of a sudden a company's insolvent and you might want to sell your shares before they go to absolute zero. Like maybe those things you want to be a little on top of, but generally it's really hard to completely miss something that you've been keeping an eye on. Like the $10 you paid now versus 2 weeks ago is not going to matter in 30 years, that kind of stuff. And I think what's interesting, we're all around the same age, I think, and whether we got started when we were in our 20s or got started 4 years ago, like I did with buying individual stocks, we all had the benefit of age and understanding that, I think it's hard when you're like 21, 22, 19, whatever, when you're just first having a job and investing. It's really hard to fathom that like a couple $100 can turn into tens of thousands of bucks down the road. That's just, you can't, it's really hard to think that way when you're young. And for me, like the patience thing is a byproduct of just being older, but also the fact that because I was an index investor for so long, I can see that over the long term, all this kind of shakes out in the wash, right? Like I remember getting the statement in the mail when I wasn't really paying attention during the great financial crisis and being like, wow, lost a lot of money this quarter, and then just putting it in a drawer and then, a couple years later getting one and being like, oh, wow, look at that. We're back where we were. So I have the benefit of age and hindsight to know that like these things do shake out. It does make me wonder if you're starting right now and you're young, you're young, right? So that's challenge number one for seeing the future. Like no young person sees the future very well. And we're in a completely different world, right? Like immediacy is just expected now, like none of us need to be old man, raising our fist at the clouds right now, but nothing was immediate when I was 19. It was like totally different world. I think those are some challenges that people face if you're starting now. But I think like honing your patience to me feels like something that would benefit any investor at any stage in their life.
I've got one more thing to add before we move on here. I think one of the most important things that I'm speaking directly to your listeners right now, but I think one of the most important things that investors have to do, you have to evolve, is breaking the bad habits that are common, like rules in investing that are usually BS, that people think are just the things you're supposed to do. Like you buy a stock and it doubles and you sell half of it and you say, well, it's house money now. No, it was always your money, right? Sometimes, yes, selling half of a winning investment does make sense because you're rebalancing your portfolio or you're concerned about valuation or whatever, right? Sometimes it makes sense, but like always doing it is dumb. This is the one that I hate the most that so many people do is you have a stock that stinks and you're going to sell it, but you're going to sell it when you get back to break even. Bro, you said it sucks. What makes you think it's going to go up, right? So breaking those sorts of habits and those like mental gymnastics that we put ourselves through that are not in our best interest. I want to give an example on that second one. So like SolarEdge, it's a company here that makes electronics for solar panels. Residential solar is a mess right now. Everybody's convinced that the Trump administration is going to rip all of the incentives out, so that industry is down.